Hello, how you doing? James here. I'm going to shout out to AC Reacts to this video. I'm gonna play a little bit, about 5 10 minutes of his video, and I got some other videos I want to show you. This is dealing with women in their relationship, and this is why some men are very divided on women these days. And he's going to use this woman as an example, but I'll let him taste.
It gets to her, and you've done nothing but just been pulled over. She will be trying to justify why Brad sent you to the upper room. Doesn't matter. And then she'll pull out, and don't be arrested for an old charge. Don't, oh yeah, he got sent to the upper room because he had a charge, a weed charge in 2015, so he must have been high and he wasn't complying. Yeah, she would do that to you. She's a Brad worshiper. Oh, of course she'll say things about the Democratic Party that we agree with, but so what? I don't care if these Keishas say some things that you may agree with, they don't rock with you. And you're going to see just how, and y'all hold her to, y'all hold Shahrazad Ali to an even higher standard. You're going to see how disrespectful she is, and how disrespectful she is to black men in particular in this video, to even Donahue have to call her out for it. Oh, Brad. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Civilization, a man's son, is the greatest gift God can give him. Has no relationship at all. He's not only disassociated from us, we are frightened, we are scared, we are vulnerable, we are left to have to turn to you. It is very natural that we would be attracted to the white man since you have more power and authority over our life than he does.
Who said that? Who said that? The wig wearer said that, right? The wig wearer stayed saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let you. I'm not gonna be interjecting too many. I just want to show you who she is and watch what she say and watch how she treat fellow. Remember, it's supposed to be fellow black men. Watch.
Let me understand this now, so that for a black man living in a white society, you see the tradition, one of a kind of longing to be like the black man, like the white man, and an effort to be
Accepted?
accepted.
Well, it's more so like a parent-child relationship. White men have been the foster parent to black men. Although they've been an abusive parent, they have been the foster parent. And so consequently now that relationship is in turmoil because the black man is longing to go free, except he has lost any rationale or logic about what it is to be free and have to reclaim his position as man over us and father to his own children. And so that's left him in a very desperate situation that we no longer have any pity for.
Examples of what black men must do to fight for their freedom. Miss Ali. Number one, quit his job working in the system.
He's got to separate himself from his former slave master.
This is number 11, Brian.
For Chevy, this isn't just a race. It's science and a
System.
He's got to separate himself from his former slave master.
This is number 11, Brian. Can we see it? Number two, abandon all his credit cards.
Absolutely. That dollar down, a dollar week has failed many a black man.
Default on his car note in order to give full attention to important issues in the struggle.
Absolutely. Many of them have fine wardrobes and fine cars, and their babies are hungry.
We haven't got enough black men in jail. You want to put some more in?
Well, you know, that's another aspect of it. Some of our strongest and bravest and boldest black men are in prison. We got 500,000 of our men locked up. No civilization where the nation of...
And y'all thought that came, particularly from Color Purple. That idea that the good black men are in jail, prison. That's what you have to. And again, there's some things that she's going to say that y'all might agree with. But you have to read between the lines. You gotta look at the belittling. No, they weren't our foster parents. What do you mean? They were our captors. What are you talking about? What do you mean they were our foster parents? No, no, this wasn't no child parent. No, this was just straight up abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Positions of power.
Right. Yep.
And brothers didn't lay down for it neither.
No.
Over 290 slave revolts. So brothers knew it was wrong. They didn't just lay down and let it happen. But let's go.
Of people as small as we are can survive with 500,000 black men locked up because of their frustration.
You don't sound very empathetic.
I'm not happy. I'm enraged because I'm alone. I don't have anybody to hold me. I'm not happy.
Just 1 second. Number 4.
And she's still alone.
Number 4, Brian. This is number 12. Stop going to church and study your own cultural religion.
Absolutely.
Take black women off the streets who are living immorally.
Absolutely. We keep waiting on you to come in there and help do something for our children and get our women in order. Y'all get our women in order. They're your women.
Make his word his bond and begin doing what he says he's going to do.
Stop lying to us about everything.
Here.
So we gotta go out there, right?
Listen.
Snatch women off the streets that are living immorally, right? What's that called? That's a crime. Right? And to also stop lying to you because we're liars. Let's go.
Here's what black men lie about. Next. How much money he makes. 13, Brian. What a woman did to him in bed. His marital status. About how much his clothes cost. About how many children he has. Stop lying about what your position or your job is. Stop lying how much power you wield in the house. And stop lying about how you get along with your wife or your woman.
Right. All of that. Just lying about...
We lie about everything. We just lie about everything. Let's go.
anything. Why the cow jumped over the moon? It doesn't matter because we know them. We know how you look. We know how you smell. We know what it feels like to touch you. So we know when you're lying, but we have to tolerate that in order to get along with you because if we bust you in the lie, you'll stop coming around us and disappear. So we have to pretend like what you say is the truth while we be disappointed.
That's right. You're very... Just one more question. You're very close. Miss Ali, you're very close. Boy, this is going to be some picnic going out into this audience. You're very close to saying that the black man is a wimp.
Well, he is, but it's not because he has to be one. He is one because he keeps comparing himself to you. They act like their total challenge in life is to figure out a way to be accepted by you. We've been following them behind that idea since the 1960s, when we followed you all into the so-called integration and civil rights movement, which was a...
That wasn't us as a whole.
Oh,
That
Jesus.
wasn't us as a whole. What is she talking about? What is she talking about?
Black man,
That
this
was not
where
us as a
started it.
whole.
This where started it.
You had plenty of black men on the other side of things that wasn't with Dr. King. I respect Dr. King for what he did. I do. He had courage. But his message and his way of going about it, I did not respect it. When I learned about it, I didn't respect it. At all. But you had brothers who weren't with that. Who basically said, this is our identity. We're separating ourselves from y'all.
And let me say this. Yeah, black men, he's right, because there were black men that were the Black Panther. Malcolm X stood up. I mean, I don't know where she getting this from. And they stood toe to toe against the police with the Black Panther. They have really lost their life with the local police department. I don't understand why women like this talk like this. At the time, I don't understand that. When they say some stuff like this, and they wondering why some black men feel the way they do. Like, you justifying saying what you're saying about a man, but yet you wondering why some black men have gone off to other women. But this is what's going to happen to some of these women. Like, watch this story.
Don't try this baking soda trick unless you're ready to last all night.
Because the woman said in this video had a good advice.
My husband was having some.
One regret that really bothers me, especially today, where I am in my life, is not having a child. I see all my friends with their grandbaby.
Half of women 30 and younger don't have a child. Now, we also know that couples, 1 in 3 couples at 30 already have trouble conceiving.
Life is not having children. Part of my life saying that I didn't think I really wanted kids, but turns out I did.
All throughout college and all throughout high school, I was just telling people I'm going to be a wife and a mother.
Are you upset, or do you feel some type of way at the fact that you're 34 years old and you do not have any children?
The other day, if I had any regrets in my life, and I thought really hard about it, and the one regret that really bothers me, especially today, where I am in my life, is not having a child. I'm gonna be honest, I was selfish. I did not want to give up my freedom. I enjoyed my life when I was younger. I got into motorcycles. I was fairly young. I like to be able to hop on that motorcycle and pack a few things, some clothes, and hop on it and go and be gone till Sunday. Wherever the road took me is where I went. And you can't do that when you have children. You got to be home taking care of business. So I was selfish. I've managed to travel. I'm well traveled. I mean, I've been to Europe 3 times and plenty of the Caribbean countries and all over the United States. And but that's my one regret. I see all my friends now with their grandbabies and even some cases great-grandbabies. And that is the one thing that I regret not doing, is having a child. I have somebody in my life who's like a daughter to me. It's my niece. She's the only child of my brother, and she's 44 years old. I was 19 when she was born, and she's always been my baby, and she will always be my baby. And I'll tell you that right now. That's my baby. And I still spoil her today. She lives with me. So, that's
Taking advantage,
Yeah.
But you girls out there that are saying, I don't want any kids, you really need to sit down and look at the long-term picture. Where are you going to be when you're my age? I'm in my 60s. So,
60 years old.
because I see all my friends with their grandbabies and great-grandbabies in some cases, and I'm jealous. But I made my bed, so I got to lay in it. So you girls, you really think about it, because this is a big decision, especially that's going to affect you when you get older.
Not listening. I'm not listening.
All right, God bless America. God bless the American people, and y'all have a great day.
Yes, God bless you for telling that story.
Yes.
I'm happy you did, because a lot of ladies need to hear this.
Exactly.
She wanted freedom. Now she 65, 70, 85 years old? No kids. show for herself. She's taking care of a 44-year-old niece who, you guys heard me, that's taking advantage of her, actually. She's the same age as me, your niece. Like, what is she doing? Still, this is what they have to look forward to. Nothing glamorous about it. You feel it when you hit this age. You go, man, I should have attempted. I should have tried. At least if she would have tried, she'd be like, I tried, but wasn't successful. That's something different. You can live with yourself, seriously. Say if she was like 40 years old, tried, couldn't, she'd say, I tried, just wasn't in my cards, right? I wasn't dealt the right hand.
Half of women 30 and younger don't have a child. Now, we also know that couples, 1 in 3 couples at 30 already have trouble conceiving. Fertility goes off a cliff at 35. So 30, you're pushing your luck at 30. At 35, you are seriously pushing your luck. Half of women at 30 have no child. Half of those women will not have a child. 95% of them will regret that. That's 1 woman in 4. There's lots of women, many, maybe it's the majority. At 19, if you ask the typical Western woman if she wants to have children, she's very likely to say no. She's going to pursue her career. Well, that's very unwise. First of all, what the hell do you mean career? Most people don't have careers. They have jobs. And a job is something that someone pays you to do because...
You know, I saw a lady, I showed her my last video. She was bawling her eyes out, but she did it right. She got her husband, had babies with a man she knew, because he was her husband, wasn't going to pass her anything, right? Then after, she tackled her career. But then she hated being outside because she's a good mom. Ain't that something? That's the way that most ladies are supposed to go. My mother took the same route. My mother was forced to take the same route because she had me out of wedlock, but that's the route she ended up taking. She knew for sure when she had me, she said, I gotta lock down a man. But that's the way you should go.
Because you wouldn't do it if they weren't paying you. Okay, so that's like 80% of careers are jobs. Of the people that have careers, a small minority have successful careers. And an even smaller minority have careers so successful that it's better for them to have the career than to have a husband or wife or children. And that's almost no one. And it's certainly almost no women. So, and you might say, well, that's sexist. It's like, you just don't know what you're talking about. I worked for 10 years with a strata of the highest achieving women. I had, as part of my clinical practice, a offering that we made to consulting firms and law firms. And the offer was, send us your best people and we'll work for them. But the consequence of that is that they'll be even more productive. So in the typical law firm, for example, there's people who don't do well, then there's people who are good lawyers, then there are people who are good lawyers that bring in business. There's like none of them. They're super valuable. And if a law firm has someone like that, they want to keep them. And they're often women, half the time, let's say. Those were the women I was working with. And they were generally extremely attractive, extremely intelligent, very hardworking, and very focused on career development. And they'd done very well in junior high school and high school. Then they, aced college and their LSATs. And then when they were articling, the firms snapped them up quickly, and then they rocketed up towards partnership. And then they were 30, and they all thought, what the hell am I doing working 70 hours a week with a bunch of insanely competitive men, right? And that is the question. It's like, what are you doing exactly? And then even if you're radically successful, let's say in your law school career, if you get run over by a bus on the way to work, the waters just close over you at the firm.
Yeah.
The firm continues on. It's not like anyone cares. Not really. I'm not saying that people shouldn't pursue a career. But I would say even in my case, and I'm male, so that makes a big difference, because men are also oriented towards status, competition, victory in a way that women just aren't, at least not in the career domain. And the reason for that's very straightforward. And the thing that makes men, by default, most attractive to women is the comparative success in the hierarchy of men. It's a walloping predictor, and it's irrelevant to men. Like, men don't care at all whether women are successful in their career. It's not a determinant of their attractiveness. In fact, fact, it's often the contrary. Well, these women that I'm talking about, they were often alone. Why? Well, they're beautiful, so that like intimidated 90% of men right there. They're smart, so that's another 90% of the remaining 10%. They're accomplished and wealthy. Well, like, first of all, who's going to approach them? And second, who are they going to accept? Because women are hypergamous, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not what the other lady, the first lady, struggled with, but that's what most modern women struggle with.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
sometimes it happens. They won't be as high as those ladies he dealt with.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
they get close to
Right.
around 80,000, some even 100, 125,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then they look around and go, who am I to date? Yes. Then they want the guy that's 6 feet, 6 figures, can't date him. Then they date the wrong guys. They date the criminal, the fixer-upper guy who most women are trying to date. They're smashing everyone, using the car,
Mm-hmm.
running up all the bills. Then they want to, after all of that, look at the good guy.
Right.
Seriously. It all comes back to you, my man.
Boom.
That's why men have
Fact.
said, no mas.
In life is not having children. I spent a lot of my life saying that I didn't think I really wanted kids, but turns out I did. And I think I would have been a good mom, to be honest. Having said that, I am turning 40 this year, and in order for me...
She's turning 40? Ooh. I saw those cakes on the table. Lady, pick up the cakes and hit the gym. I say to any man or woman out there, don't look like this when you get older. If you look like that now, work on it. You can change yourself.
For me to move forward and focus on enjoying life after I turn 40, I have to accept it, and that's something I am working on. It's one of those things that is so huge to have not done in your life, and yet you can't change it. So I have to accept it and have to find ways to just enjoy life and not spend too much time focusing on the fact that that is not part of my life. Now, of course, I could just get as many cats as possible, and that is something I will work on, because that is something I can control. But what I am going to do is just focus on what my life is and enjoying it as much as I can with as fewer regrets as possible.
Get a cat, get a dog, die alone.
But now let's talk about you. If you do not apply for this strategy session, what's really going to change? Another month of you trying to figure...
Alright. What else you want to see? Welcome to your favorite news network, the Saucy News Network. You know where Negro news comes first. And I'm so excited to be your host today. Breaking news. Kendra G's show is amazing because it's getting worse. It's not amazing because she's a great content creator, thing like that. I mean, she's cool, but the people on the show just keep getting worse. And Kendra G, the one thing I love about what she does is people come from all walks of life, right? People you would never think would be interested in dating or mating. And this is the situation with this particular lady here who was 72 years old. Now she's 73, all right? Now, first of all, she came on to Kendra G looking for a man last year at the age of 72. Now, before we get into that, remember there was a brother that confronted Kendra G for gassing females up.
You got a lot of dudes hot with you.
Yes.
Let me tell you why. You need to open up a gas station. You sell more gas. You be like, yeah, girl, you look good. I say, them Jones, all them Jones don't be right.
So the brother says, listen, Kendra, you always telling somebody that's, really not that cute, that they really official, right? And when Kendra G hears that this lady is 72 years old, what does she do?
Okay, how old are you, love?
72.
72? You look younger than 72.
I feel it. She says, oh, you look younger than get a little deeper, and we find out more about her past.
So Carol Lancaster, California, 72, retired, mom of 2 kids, married twice. Do they have 2 different daddies?
Different daddies.
And you married both of their daddies?
No, I didn't marry none of their daddies.
Oh, you just married 2 entirely different men?
Right. Asking me for my ID all the time. So I stay from, huh?
They ask you for your ID because they don't believe you 72?
No. My kids, I look younger than my kids.
Stop the cap.
I would date, I say, between 60 and maybe 65, 70. I don't want no old man because old men, all they want to do is lay in the bed. It's time for me to get out there and travel. See the world.
Boy, y'all sit your stupid ass down. Who the f*** think you is? She's 72. She don't want nobody her age. She's looking for somebody 50 to 60 in that age range because she said herself, old men, all they want to do is stay in the bed all day, right? That's all they want to do. Now, fast forward. Now, what would it feel like to wake up on your terms, work from anywhere, and actually enjoy what you do? Now, a few weeks ago, this lady is now 73. So she comes back to the show, and she's looking nasty attitude, right? It's just crazy. And she's like, no. Like, you didn't find what you was looking for? No. So then look, Kendra G asks her this.
So what age range do you want to date, Carol?
50 to, all right. What else you want to see?
The lady started twerking and almost got, like, listen, Kendra started laughing at her. The lady was upset. She started getting mad at Kendra. Kendra had to hold back. you're most likely not going to change it. And then the people who did want to reach out to you, you didn't want them. So, I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, if you want somebody, don't you think you ought to work on yourself? That lady is the way she acting. I'm just going to be real. Something's wrong with that lady. That lady is delusional. I would want to use the word insane, but I don't want to use the word insane because it's so common to see people like that. Then you want to get on the bed and start stiff twerking. You was down bad doing that. Kendra G's show is getting worse because of people like this. It don't even make no damn sense. Next story!
Sorry about camera. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and hope you like and subscribe. Might be a little buzz, but have a little delay with this my laptop. Alright then, guys. Hope you like and subscribe from the video. But yeah, before I go, it's just that the video pretty much speaks for itself. These videos, shout out to AC, Warlife, and O'Shea Jackson for the video, but this is the reason why men are checking out. And if it's sad when it's an older woman is regretting, you know, what does that say to these younger women not listening? So they're gonna be like a lot like these older women. It's because of what they said and what their mindset is. And then you wonder why, like the first video, why some men are leaving going overseas. When you have men, when you have women belittling men like that, like what this child Lee says. I don't know why they seem to think that if you keep doing that, that's going to keep the men around them, make them change. I don't know what it is doing. It's making men fed up to the point that it cuts you loose. Some women And it's too bad women like the older women didn't learn from the lesson in the Bible. In Numbers chapter, I believe it's chapter 12, where it was a situation, and it was Moses, it was Aaron, and his sister. And you know, part of the story tells you what happened when there were people that didn't agree with Moses is in the camp. So what happened was, you know, soon the one section that the author mentioned about, they in the midst of an argument, it must have happened that she looked over at his wife, or didn't, his sister did, and mentioned that why she couldn't stand her and didn't like her for some reason, and gave her grief about Moses having a wife. And she tried to get her brother Aaron involved. And you know the story. When God got a hold of what Miriam was griping about, he called Moses, Aaron, and Miriam out, because he was questioning what his relationship was with the Heavenly Father. And God saw that Miriam was the major person that got it all riled up in the camp, because even though she was anointed, being a prophetess, whatever, but she got too cocky. A lot of women get to the point that get cocky, and in a situation like Miriam, you had the Most High had to hit her with leprosy, and she had to be out of the campsite of people until she got it right. A lot of women is like Miriam, and it's going to take the Most High God to sit them down in some kind of way and let it talk to them, because when you start thinking you above a man, and when a man is guidance, that's what's going. You're going to put yourself to be alone. There's a scripture about a contentious woman in the book of Proverbs. Maybe Miss Shada Lee should have read that scripture when she made that video at that time, because that's not having. You're not building your men up by tearing your men down. I don't know why that is. You're coming at the wrong type of men. And then you're wondering why black men get fed up with some black women talking to them like they're sons or something. And then that's why they gravitate to other women, because the other women make them feel like the man. Black men have told you this, but you don't want to listen. You don't get it. There's some black women out there that are argumentative. They're masculine. They've told you, and you just don't listen. And you're going. A lot of these women are going to be alone, because no man, regardless of race, color, creed, is going to deal with the masculine women, with a masculine personality. No one's going to be deal with a contentious woman that's always coming at them and saying you're not man enough because, you know, you ain't this, you don't have enough money, you don't have this thing, you don't have that. After a while, after you tear him down and he hits rock bottom, maybe another one gonna have to come pick him up and see his potential. If you don't see his potential, then you're gonna lose out. And then you're gonna find, just like there's a situation over in China, I might do on this next video, that there are women that they just like yourself, who are educated, independent, strong, they can do everything they want. But even in Asia, China, that when they get past a certain age of 30, men don't want to deal with them. So I'm kind of, you're heading towards, and here these women, like the guy sitting in the video, they career woman. This is in China. Most of them are single, never married. And in China, they want to see their kids have grandkids. But because there's so much independence, some of the women don't want to get with the man unless he makes six figure and all this and being all this, and who knows. And some of the Chinese men don't make six figures. They're good, and there's some men are good quality men, part working men. But even there's some Chinese women, and it's that, you know, it's kind of like a Western mindset. And there's few other countries like that. And you're gonna find a gravitate. A lot of women are single, because the very things that come out in their attitude and what comes out their mouth. That's the truth. You're going to be alone. Your own words is going to keep you alone. And, you know, and they just can't understand it. They can't stomach it. And maybe even some other women try to tell you, you know, you need to kind of chill out. But no, you got to keep coming at it, man, saying he ain't masculine enough, he ain't man enough. You know, then if you find a man, if you bring the worst out of it and meet the wrong type of man, that end up domestic violence or unaliving you. What, you know, because you think you're going to draw that kind of man. I'm trying to tell you, if you rise up against a man like that, I hope it's not one you think is that, and he's been institutionalized. He gonna look at you like a dude. I'm telling you, take this advice. That's why some dudes come out like that. They come really because they in a different world behind the prison bars, jail bars. So if you think that's the type of man because of masculine, well, Miss Shaw, like she's completely wrong. Oh yeah, they can talk and maybe fight. Maybe they're a good fighter, but it takes more than just to be a man. Is more than just a fighter. Is he a provider? Is he a guide? If you take the wisdom that God has given him. See, ladies, what you don't understand is God made a man to see provision. So when he see provision, he gives him the ability to plan what he's providing, he's protecting. That's what it is provision. But somehow, a lot of you don't understand it. That's why you end up with the man that you end up with. And like I said before, and I said it past times, a lot of women is going to be alone because the very things that you say is not constructive. You're going to be what's not going to come. You're cursing your own blessing. Someone who can be a future man. No man at the top, like he said, is going to, like that man said, that's very true. But when you're working together and you come, it makes you appreciate when you work together and you come to the top. And when you see a man, whether he's a bus driver, whether I don't care if he works in a warehouse, whatever his occupation is, does his character match who he is? And until you understand that, you're going to be alone because you're living in that fantasy man ain't coming through till you get yourself right. You can mope and gripe, and even some women I've seen make videos that he went overseas and thinking that they can get something better than. And this is particularly to our women, to black women. But you see that? Did you see that the men, regardless of race, color, creed, Asian, white, they require the same thing? You have to submit the same way, same thing. If you meet the right man, no man's not gonna let you run over him. Now, no man's gonna let you go push his nerves. And which you keep challenging the man. And the black men in America is the only man that put up with your mess. And yet you don't even see it. Because no other man would put up with that. They have a certain time limit. So that's just something to think about. So, that's the reason why can't we how come black men and black women come together? A lot of times it's the women that make these videos, go on TikTok, YouTube, and other things, and they put their business out there. And they don't use the sense enough to know that what if the men are out there that have all those things, the height, whatever you require, but they see how messed up your personality is. Well, they are making 3 to 6 figures, but with your personality. And he wanted, is you going to love me as a person? Because no matter what, regardless of how much a man makes, are you going to be faithful? Because everybody, regardless of what creed, color, race, or man, when hard times get, he want that woman going to be at his side. I don't care if it's a white man, an Asian man, Hispanic man, an Arab man, an Indian man, or whatever. Black man. You know, he's gonna go through time. Or you as you gonna be a woman and mature enough to understand the obstacles are gonna happen. The question is, what is as a character as a woman when you gonna know how to stand and pray and be a support? Otherwise, you're not qualified to get the good man. They're making 6 figures because you're going about the wrong way. And you think that you're gonna play some of these men, you're only gonna get played yourself in the end. And you think it's gonna come back, it's gonna haunt you and hurt you in some type of way. Look at these older women. So, and I've seen it, I witnessed it myself. So, something to think about. You know, but this is what she said. You know, well, women like Miss Ali said about black men being wimp. Now, what you think that's gonna do to some black men here? That you think they're gonna keep tolerating that? What they're gonna do? They're gonna find a woman that's gonna make them feel like a human being, like a person, like a man, and respect it. That's why your man is going off to different women. And it's white women that do the same thing to white men. That's why they men going off to different women. Fact. Because you don't meet to hurt the certain criteria. When you run your mouth, you're gonna see what it's about. Take care, be blessed, y'all. Like, share the video. Till next time, take care.